How's it going, guys? So I just got done watching Dragon Ball Super episode 16 of the English dub on Adult Swim, and I just gotta say, even though that this is a filler episode, it has some great comedic moments within this episode, and there are some lines for this English dub from Vegeta that had me like cracking up, and I love the comedic moments between Vegeta and Bulma. If you guys are currently watching the sub of Dragon Ball Super, I encourage you just to go watch this episode just to hear the lines that Vegeta and Chris Sabat, the English voice actor for Vegeta, he delivers some good lines to Bulma within this episode that I was just like, damn, this is hilarious. So if you guys have yet to watch the English dub, I'd say go watch this episode just for the comedic moments alone. Some of the dub lines that they put within here are just too funny. But there's two main parts to this episode. We have a Goku and Krillin moment in the beginning parts of this episode, but then majority of the episode actually just delves into Vegeta and eventually just him working up to actually asking Whis to train him. But there's one part in the beginning of this episode that deals with the Supreme Kai world. We go back over there, we see the Elder Kai and Kibito Kai, looking off into the universe, and they notice that two planets have mysteriously disappeared. And they're thinking that it might be Beerus, but it doesn't seem to have his calling card because there's no debris to be found. So there's a little bit of a mystery brewing right there with some two planets disappearing. But then we get a hilarious moment with the Elder Kai. His perverted nature comes out to play in this episode because he's off in the distance looking at something and he's just like getting all hot and bothered. And Kibito Kai is just like, what are you looking at? So we end up actually getting the reveal of what he's looking at, and it's just two beetles on Earth, and you're just like, why the hell is he getting off on two beetles, just fighting each other? He says they're fighting, but I honestly think that they were doing something a little bit more. But that moment between the Elder Kai and Kibito Kai I thought was really funny. So moving along from that, we actually delve into a good moment and very nostalgic between Goku and Krillin, because Goku is still working on that farm with his tractor, and I love how when Krillin shows up with a taco shirt that he's wearing that just says tacos, but I love how Goku, whenever someone comes to visit him, he always tries to get off work and tries to get that person to try to drive his tractor. Goku is lazy and he just wants to go train, so I can't fault him for doing that, but I just noticed that, and it's something that's very funny that keeps popping up when Goku has visitors visiting him at work. But then we get these nostalgic flashbacks to old Dragon Ball days of Krillin and Goku training under Master Roshi, and they're reanimated, different voices from what I know from old Dragon Ball. But I'm watching that and like, oh, I remember all of this training stuff with the stone when Roshi had to throw the stone and they had to go retrieve it, and then Krillin, fooling Goku and saying, oh, that's not the real stone, stealing it and trying to run away with it, them carrying all of the milk cartons, and then them doing the swimming exercises with the lake that's filled with a shark. I was like, wow, this is very nostalgic for me. I remember all those episodes, and it was just very nice to see it, even though it was reanimated and they didn't actually use old footage from old Dragon Ball. I still got a kick out of those moments, and I was just like, wow, this is awesome. Besides that, though, Krillin actually challenges Goku to punch him, which I was like, Krillin, you're gonna get destroyed by Goku. He is leagues and bounds above you in power level and strength, but yet Krillin wants to do this because he wants to see how much stronger Goku has actually gotten than him. So Krillin ends up, getting bombarded by Goku. He goes flying, and I love how Goku tries to catch him and, ends up failing. Another good comedic moment right there. And at that point, I'm just like, give the man a senzu because he is in pain right now. And then they end up going back to Goku and Chi-Chi's home. Android 18 is there. And I just gotta say, Krillin lucked out in the wife department because Android 18 is just like, oh my god, in this episode. Android 18. I love her character. Between Gohan and Krillin, I think they lucked out in having the perfect wives because 18 is just tending to him, and I just love the relationship that Krillin and 18 have, and it's just a very sweet moment that I really enjoyed in this episode. And you can definitely tell that Android 18 loves and cares for Krillin, which is okay in my book. I'm like, very good job for Krillin. So moving on from that, the majority of this episode actually delves into Vegeta, him trying to find a way to obtain the Super Saiyan God power, and he just wants to do it on his own merits, his own strength, and he eventually goes back. And what I love about this is that some time has passed, but Bulma has been hanging out with Whis and actually showing him all the foods that Earth has to offer, and he's just like, having like these food orgasms as he's eating all this food. He's just absolutely loving the flavor, the texture, and he's really glad right now that Beerus didn't destroy the planet, because right now Whis is having an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I think like Whis, whenever he shows up in Dragon Ball Super, by far my new favorite character. He's very sophisticated. I love the way he speaks and just the language he uses. overall, very cool character. And he's right now becoming a regular connoisseur of Earth cuisine. So I absolutely enjoy whenever Whis is on screen. So Vegeta eventually finds out that Bulma is actually hanging out with Whis. And this is where the comedic moment comes in, because Vegeta and Bulma's interactions, just the lines that Vegeta gives to Bulma, I was like, yo, this man does not care at all. He's basically like, shut up, Bulma. Yeah, that's sure, whatever, babe. I'm just like, oh my god, he does not care. He is very blunt with Bulma, but Bulma is a very hard woman, and it's probably the only woman within Dragon Ball that actually put Vegeta in his place. So I absolutely loved the conversation going back and forth between Vegeta and Bulma. But then we do get some crucial information within this episode as well, because Whis actually tells Vegeta that he is actually Lord Beerus's teacher. So knowing that he's the teacher of Beerus, you can already tell that he's probably stronger than Beerus. And if he's teaching the God of Destruction, it clicks in Vegeta's head to where it's like, well, if I make him my teacher, I can possibly obtain the Super God transformation through hard work, and Whis can get me to this next level. And Whis even pushes the Goku button where he says, where he can teach him, but if he doesn't concentrate on learning to control his power and just concentrates on just building up his strength, he'll never surpass Goku. And this triggers Vegeta to no end, to where he finally breaks down and tells Whis, please become my teacher. And Whis is just basically like, well, if you want to be my student, you got to guarantee that you're going to become the next God of Destruction. To where Vegeta makes a bargain with him, to where he's saying like, well, Bulma's been showing you a lot of Earth cuisine. If I can show you a dish on Earth that is just so good and it's better than everything that Bulma has shown you, will you make me your student then? They agree. Hilarity ensues, to where they go through this montage of just Vegeta trying to show Whis the perfect dish, but so far Bulma has basically showed him everything, and it basically breaks down to this very funny moment where I'm just like, really? This is the ultimate dish that ends up winning Whis over? Vegeta ends up giving the one dish that Bulma always has to have once a week, and it's basically ramen, cup of noodles. I'm like, really? The simplest meal you can possibly make that is the cheapest and college students constantly eat. I would know. I constantly ate cup of noodles in college. So the fact that that actually won Whis over, and he's like, oh my god, this is delicious, and immediately agrees to take Vegeta on, and he ends up taking him back to Lord Beerus's planet to where they can commence training. And before Vegeta can leave, Bulma gives him a gift of a new uniform, because she's basically like, don't wear those tattered clothes that you're wearing right now, because we'll become the laughing stock of the universe. Wear these new armor, wear these new threads, and just go off and train, become stronger, you know, do whatever you gotta do. You're a Saiyan. I know you can do whatever you want to do. So right now we have Whis taking Vegeta off to Beerus's planet, to where they're going to commence their training, and it's only a matter of time before Goku finds out, and you know that he's going to be wanting to train under Whis as well. But overall, this filler type episode had very funny comedic moments. I think that this was actually funnier than the last filler episode, episode 15 that we had last week, and I'm just really looking forward to just delving into the next arc. So I hope that this will possibly be the end of the filler type episodes, and then we're finally going to get into the Resurrection F episodes, to where Frieza comes back, and then we're just going to delve into the new transformations that Goku and Vegeta are going to display in this new arc. So, did you guys watch this episode of Dragon Ball Super? Did you guys find the comedic moments as funny as I thought so as well? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and just tell me your overall thoughts on how you think the English dub is handling Dragon Ball Super thus far. And if you guys are fans of Dragon Ball Super and are watching the dub, and if you feel like subscribing, feel free to do so. I would love to talk with you guys and just talk about all of the moments that happen with the English dub of Dragon Ball Super. So until next week, until episode 17 of Dragon Ball Super comes out, I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.